Well, hello everyone, and welcome to this lesson in which we're going to be looking at the ideas associated with the deletion of documents. So it's still within the broad topic of data management and data administration. We've been, over the last few lessons, looking at ideas associated with the management of personal data and making sure that we're able to use the tools that Sage CRM provides to be able to meet the requirements of data privacy legislation. And there are different requirements around the world, but Sage CRM is a flexible system and can be adapted to ensure that you are able to carry out the tasks that you need to be able to achieve. And one of the main tasks associated with data privacy, along with the idea of minimization of data, is this question of removal of documents which may contain personal identifying information or personal identifying data. So we're looking specifically in this lesson at covering the knowledge needed to understand how Sage CRM can be used to delete library records and physical documents associated with individuals that are part of the general right to be forgotten as required by legislation such as the GDPR. Well, if we look at where we've been, we've seen that Sage CRM contains all of these different tools for mitigating risks associated with non-compliance. So how do you ensure that you are complying with GDPR, where you need to be able to demonstrate that you're managing consent, that you are able to, at request of a data subject, that's a natural person, to be able to anonymize their data, to be able to then ensure that all of the communications associated with that person are removed. And now we're looking at the idea of the removal of documents. And this is because these are all places where personal data may be kept. And it's especially true because of these last things, the communication records and documents. They can contain unstructured data, which really until recently was thought of as, well, you know, there's some security through obscurity and you'd have to look at an awful lot of data to do that. But now we have tools available in most businesses with the arrival of generative AI to be able to process documents and then be able to extract personal information from that information based on algorithms. So it is very important to be able to look at the removal of documents as well from your server to minimize any sense of risk associated with your file stores. So let's have a look at the process of deleting a document and what goes on when you think that you're removing a document in Sage CRM. Now, here you can see I've logged on as a user. I'm looking at a company record, and this happens to be the rather simply named Accounting Inc. Now, I've logged on as the system administrator, but anything that we're doing here with the deletion of the data of documents, really, you need to be a system administrator or an info manager with the same rights that you would use for mass operations. So they have to have info manager with user rights. And again, and please refer to the earlier lesson on the idea of mass operations, which was in this series as well. So I've logged on to accounting into Sage CRM. I'm looking at my record for Accounting Inc. and I've just clicked here, the Communications tab, and I can see that I've got different records associated with this particular contact, and they've all got a paperclip next to them indicating that there are documents associated with them. In fact, I was setting this up earlier, I was using the idea of mail merges to be able to generate some documents very quickly. So the document, the paperclip indicates that there's a document associated with the communication. If you look at this, because these are communications, I have filtered this list so that I'm showing all. You can get a little bit confused if you're not filtering to all to ensure that you're getting the historic information, because it tends to only naturally show you the pending communications, but I've chosen to filter by all, and I can now drill down and start to, well, and before I do that, in fact, I'll come across to actually the person that is dealing with. So I started off looking at Accounting Inc., and now I'm looking at the user, the individual person, who is Francis Pitford. Now, Francis Pitford is a person record, and a person record and lead records are the examples of this idea of the data subject. So when we talk about data subjects in the data privacy law or natural persons, they're leads and they are person records. And I can come in to look down again at the same view. Here I can see that there are communications listed here for this person. The individual letters, I can click into here and you can see that I clicked on the thank you letter that was in that list, and it's an individually merged letter. And because, for example, the Sage merge process, Sage CRM merge process, especially to HTML templates, allows you to alter the template as you are merging, you're able to add in additional information. And Sage also allows you to be able to download and edit a document to re-upload it into the library. So you cannot just assume that a mail merge document contains only the personal information that is contained inside the merge fields, because a user may well have added additional personal identifying information into the email, into the document. So this creates a situation there. You just have to be aware that these documents could contain information that should not be there. Now, if I switch back looking at CRM again looking at my list of communications, I can start to explore this time the flip side of those communications, because those communications have documents associated with them, and I can now have a look to see at the idea of the actual documents that are here. Now, documents can get associated with an individual or a lead, either because you have carried out a mail merge in that context or uploaded in that context, or you have carried out some sort of task based on a group. So you could well have carried out a mail merge associated with the group, and they are then associated with that document, all of them. And if we look at what's going on here, we know that there must be a file on the server because we've already loaded that and shown that inside our browser and downloaded it from the server. We know that we have got the idea of a library record because we're looking at those separately, and we know that we're looking then at a communication record, and we can see that a library record is linked into the communication record, which itself can then be linked into the context of a company, a person, and a lead. And if we're emailing in the context of a person, then this is where we get the question of how we need to be able to start to remove data. But that's the web of relationships when we're looking at what is a file on the server, the thing that we have to get rid of. So as we think about this, I can switch into the server. Now I'm looking at my hard drive, and I'm looking down, and you can see I've come down into program files, Sage CRM, then down into the instance. In my case, I always keep my CRMs as called CRM, and I'm looking at the library. And in the library, you can see that there is a structure on how things should be stored. Now, this is an automatic piece of behavior associated with each record, like a company, a person, and a lead. There is, when you create the company or the lead, it gets automatically created with a folder location that is based on the first letter of the its name plus the the name itself. So it goes down into a folder for A, then it will go down into Accounting Inc. If there were two Accounting Incs, the folder would also be appended with the unique identifier to uniquely identify every merge location. Now, in old situations where we used to have old demo data, you might see, as I have on my screen, a Eurolandia folder, and that indicates that that comes from an old data which didn't use that structure. But any of the structures will always be in this hierarchy of alphabetic company name, possibly appended with the unique identifier. But if the information is not associated directly with the data subject, the person, the company, or the lead, then it will be associated with the person who generated the document. So a lot of group work that is created will be associated with the particular originating user, and there you would see a folder associated with them. Now, if I drill down into my A, you can see here I've got my Acacia and I've got Atlantic Mesh Inc. And so I've got a couple of companies already set up with documents. And if I examine my contents of Accounting Inc., you can see that I've got mostly PDF files, but I have got 6 documents there listed in that folder. So that ties in exactly with the 6 documents that we see here underneath our Documents tab for this user. So this is all about the deletion of records. So we should start to think about what happens if I want to be able to remove things. Now, I've come back into my communication records. You can see here that there is a delete all communications button. And this is all about the right of erasure and the right to be forgotten. At first, I'm going to look at the idea of the removal of those records. So you can see all communications for this person are to be deleted. And are we sure that we want that to happen? Well, if we are sure, then we click that and the 3 communication records will have been deleted. Now, if I switch over, you can see that I still have 6 documents listed there. But the link with the communication record has gone, but the document still is there. Remember, what we're looking at is this hierarchy or web. Probably a web is a better way of saying it, is that our document has a relationship with both the library record and the communication, but it is, if you remove the communication, you're not necessarily removing the library record. We're going to find that it's the library record that is the key thing here. So remove the library record and the document will also go. So that's the reality. Physically, we still have our files on the server. Now we can see while we're on this tab, looking at our documents, that on the right-hand side, we've got a delete all documents. Now my delete all documents is appearing because of the same reason why I had a delete all communications. I have mass update rights, mass operations rights, and I can confidently now look to the removal of this. But before I do all of them, can I get rid of an individual record, and what happens? If I drill into a library record and I hit delete, am I just removing the database record and leaving a problem for me on the server, or am I deleting actually the record, the physical file as well? So here you can see I've come in, look, I'm looking at a physical, I'm looking at the database record that ties the interface to the physical file. And I can now choose to go and delete. So you can see a button there choosing to delete. And I need to confirm that. It's very good. It's warning me. I've got a little icon there on the side. You can see if I was really unsure, I could go and look at that file that I was going to delete. But no, I'm deleting this. And you can see that I've only got 5 records there. But has that physically changed what's on the data store? Has it changed what's on my server? Well, now if we switch over into the file server, you can see it's changed. There were 6, there are now 5. So 1 file has been deleted. And it is a bonus. It was the correct file that was deleted as well. So it's the removal in the interface of the library record which will cause Sage CRM to know it has to delete the file on the server. Now, we are going to see that there are some circumstances which means that there will be some records which are hanging about, and these are likely to be in situations where a merge has taken place through a group. And so the document is theoretically linked to multiple records. And as you delete the communications and the library entries associated with those, the file doesn't necessarily go because it's waiting for the last person. But we will be looking in a moment on the way in which we can do that as a complete tidy up. Now, we are in the situation where we've got our 5 records still. So let's go ahead and delete all records here. So I'm deleting all of the documents. It's warning me all the documents for this person are going to be deleted. Am I sure I want to continue? And all records seem to have gone. But of course, the proof of the pudding is in the eating. And so I need to switch across into my Windows where I'm looking at my directory, and you can see all of the files have gone from the server. So that leaves us in a position where we've removed from an individual data subject, and the equivalent set of behavior exists for leads. But I wonder, how else can documents be removed? So let's go through and have a look at groups, because we saw in a previous lesson how we can get rid of communications for a group. So if I look at my groups, and you can see that I've got groups based on person and leads, and these have a mass delete button. In this particular case, I'm looking at a person group, and if I click on my mass delete button, it's asking me what do I want to delete. Well, we're talking in this instance about the removal of documents. And so I'll click that and choose OK. And it's asking me whether I'm sure. And it's then told me that it's physically removed all of those 200 odd files from the server. So it's done a very large sweep to get rid of any of the documents associated with these users. That will have made the change within the file store, as we've seen. But groups may also be used to create merges, and as I said, they may not be linked to a specific record, but rather they get linked to the user that generated them. Now, we've gone through the process, we've gone rid of communications, we've gone rid of documents, but there may be some information that lingers. And so if we look across into the system administrator folder, so you can see that I've come back into my file store, and this time, instead of looking at the company and the company level, I'm looking at where we've got our user. I happen to be logged on as a system administrator, and you can see that I have a document there, which is a PDF. Now that PDF, if I examine that, you can see that this includes the people that I was looking at earlier on. So it's got multiple people. This is for a document that was generated against a group that would then be designed for printing out. So how do we get rid of this? Well, we get rid of it by coming back into Sage CRM and then into the administration screens and looking at the email and documents area. In here, we've got a area that allows us to go and manage documents. So I can go in and look at my library management, and I've got a number of options here. There are different types of documents that I might be interested in. So there are shared documents which have been uploaded to my CRM through the tab Shared Documents. That might include some images that are uploaded in a mail merge process as well. You've got document templates, which have been included. They're the things that if you've uploaded anything for the mail merges, then that's where they'll reside. And global library items are attached to the entities, the communications, the company person opportunities, etc. So the global library is actually the library is really designed for merging. But if I think about another option that is here, you can see that's listed, which is the idea of the orphaned items. The orphaned items are library items that used to be associated with an entity, but the communication record with which it was tied has been deleted, but the library item wasn't. But the library item doesn't have a parent anymore, and you can actually go ahead and, as I said, if it was originally associated with a group of people and you delete all of the library items, you can end up still with Sage CRM not knowing who that physical file may be associated with, because of course you've removed the communication and the library, so it's just sitting there with a lot of personal information contained within it. It can't be accessed through the user interface, but it is nevertheless taking up disk space, and it sits on your server containing personally identifying information and therefore subject to GDPR. So deleting orphaned records should be a quick win in terms of both freeing up storage capacity and also for removing risks from GDPR. And if we actually do this, and you can see I'm looking at my orphaned records, and then I can delete. It's warning me that this is a delete. So I'll OK that. And we're now left with the single orphaned record. And if I switch back into my system administrator folder, you can see that that particular file has gone. So what we've done in our little lesson, we've looked at how Sage CRM allows you to manage the documents through communications and through library records, and that if you want to remove the communication, you can do that. You can remove the library item, but it is the library item that is the link, the proper link to the physical file. And so we've gone ahead and we've seen how the actual removal of the library information is the thing that drives the removal of most documents from the server. But we've also understood that there is the possibility of orphaned documents being created, and we've now seen how else we can go ahead and eliminate those orphans. So let's look then at where we're going next. As part of the responsibilities within GDPR, we have to think about the data flows through our system. So we really do need to be aware of where else data has come from and where data may go to. So we need to understand what has potentially been shared with MailChimp, where we've obtained information from an accounting system, etc. This is so that you can carry out audit tasks and understanding your liabilities in terms of where personal information may have been handled. Let's see if anyone has got any questions. I hope to see you at the next lesson. Thank you all, and goodbye.